I was also impacted by layoffs. This is my story and how I've been navigating it. To give you some context, I've been working in the media and marketing space for the past 6 years, and even though my true love is photography and filmmaking, I have went through different roles while figuring out how to make it work. And in the pursuit of stability and developing new skills, I ended up becoming a generalist. One opportunity led to another, and before I knew it, I was in tech. What I didn't know was that I was entering the industry just as it was starting to crumble. In just a year and a half, I lost 3 jobs. It was my first time going through this. I poured my heart into each role, and by the end, I was completely burned out. It also affected my self-esteem. And yes, each opportunity was better than the last. My income even increased, but none of them were sustainable. So, is it even worth it to start all over again 1, 2, 3 times a year? I've always been the type of person who prefer a stable, long-term job. Honestly, this is how I was raised. Learn a skill, look for a job, and work hard. This is the only way to generate income. And looking for a job used to be kind of straightforward to me. It could take me 1 to 3 months max. But this time, nothing. Months passed, barely any interviews. At first, I thought it was just me or my location, I'm not sure, until I kept seeing the same story everywhere. On LinkedIn, Reddit, TikTok. Talented people spending 6 months, a year, even more, trying to land a job. So I think that something was clearly off, and it was happening everywhere. I think on one side, hiring is broken right now. Fake job listings just sitting there, unnecessary, complex, slow steps, companies not even sure what roles they need, and candidates getting asked to do unpaid assignments that take hours or days to complete just for a shot at an interview. So obviously people spend hundreds of hours applying. Meanwhile, you're probably dealing with financial stress, self-doubt, and burned out. On the other side, I've noticed a lot of companies want to hire top talent, but they don't invest in training or mentoring their current teams. So as a result, there is a group of people who end up feeling stuck and trying to figure things out by themselves. The whole thing feels so disconnected and demotivated. And sure, maybe it's not just broken hiring. It could also be that we are in the middle of a shift. New generations entering the market, more people switching to crowded fields, and of course, AI shaking things up. Whatever it is, one thing's clear. Job hunting right now is more complicated than ever. And let's be real, it's even more emotionally draining to deal with it when you are in a field or role that you're not passionate about. For many people at this stage, you are questioning a lot of things. You are just wondering, should I move forward to the same direction? Should I do something else? Should I do something new? Should I just build something of my own? Just shifting to a new direction. I feel like new tech and the speed of change are making work more fragmented. So I wonder if this is a global crisis or just another shift forcing us to adapt, just like every other era that brought disruption and eventually became the norm. When I think about the future of work, I believe it will require us to diversify income, build something of our own, or step into new fields and skills. Whether that means a mix of part-time jobs, side hustles, freelancing, running a business, building a personal brand, or investing. Things we can control and take action or need human input. I think that it would also push us to be more fully aware than ever before of what's happening around us and in the world, so we can turn those changes or disadvantages into opportunity. And of course, it all depends on our field, our goals, even where do we live, what is our circumstance. But I think that these challenges and stepping outside of our comfort zone do force us to evolve. And I know that sounds strange, but I have always believed that in order for us to survive, all we need is perspective. We're living in an era where there are no longer fixed rules, where income can come in many forms and where we have access to endless information and tools. I know it's different for everyone and it might not apply to all careers, but I think that's the point on one side, that there is no single way to do things anymore in the majority of cases. And for some of us, it's about unlearning fixed beliefs to learn new approaches that helps us thrive. And don't get me wrong, I am not invalidating full-time jobs. In fact, if you have a stable full-time job, keep it as long as you need to and make the best out of it. Because stability right now is underrated. It is very hard to get. And on the other hand, if you cannot create something of your own right now and you need to find a regular job in the meantime, that's okay too. But if you are been wondering, if you are been having this desire to create and to have something of your own, then try to prioritize yourself. Try to put aside amount of time to do your own projects, to create your own ideas, because they will be your biggest asset support in times of uncertainty. They'll take you somewhere else, probably somewhere better, because we regret our inactions the most. And I'm saying this not only to you, but also to myself, because I regret so much not doing enough in the past. Going through this made me realize I had been on autopilot, drifting from one job to another, caught up in distractions, only surviving, doing as I've been told, and not mindfully working toward what I truly want and building a meaningful life. And I've noticed I'm not the only one. And I think that these circumstances helps us revise these things, finding ourselves, purpose, success, direction. And maybe that's the real shift: diversification, autonomy, balance, purpose, adapting and finding something that gives us a bigger driven force. So, how the did I navigate? Well, for me, it took me almost a year to recover. Nothing inspired me. I had too much noise in my head, too many interests unexplored, accumulated, all goals never achieved, abandoned projects, too many ideas, and no structure, no clear direction. So I took my first real break in 9 years of full work, spent time with my family, went to therapy, disconnected from social media. I didn't even grab my camera for an entire year. I read books, I try new hobbies, I focus on improving my habits, and upskilled with a course. And somewhere along the way, a business idea came to mind. Now, for the past year, I've been building this brand that I hope to launch soon. A year and a bit more later, I realized that all I needed was focus and structure, and that I needed to be a little bit more grounded in order for me to move forward, to focus more on what I could do with what I have where I was, instead of just focusing too much on the future and to bigger things that I couldn't control. And that takes time and willingness to build. Like, I really force myself to show up. Again, everyone's pace is different. Some people figure things out sooner than others, and every circumstance is different too. But I think that both journeys are valid. In either case, we need to be very, very kind to ourselves, because no matter how long it takes, no matter your circumstance, it's hard for everyone. During this time, the best thing we can do is take a step back, recover, go to therapy if you can, look for a mentor, read, explore new interests, and reconnect with yourself until something feels right. Career grief and the emotional journey of losing a job or transitioning into a new field aren't talked about enough. It's not just about finding another role and starting over, which is incredibly draining. It's about recalibrating yourself. What's the next thing, and does it align with myself? So do whatever you need to heal and move forward without being too hard on yourself. I think that my biggest takeaway from all this is get comfortable with change. Get comfortable with uncertainty, with challenges, and work on yourself, work on your ideas, work on your own projects. Create something that matters to you. It doesn't matter if you're just experimenting, or it's not perfect, or it's not clear, or if you make mistakes on the way, or if you are pivoting too many times on the way. Like, it doesn't matter. Just try and move forward. Focus on enjoying the process and kind of enjoying overcoming challenges. Because remember, you provide a value in this world, in the society, and that whatever you do, not even how small or big, can make an impact on someone or something in one way or another. And that there's nothing wrong with you or your skills. You're enough. You have all the capacity to create great things. The world is just tough. It's brutal. It's not easy. It's not how we've been told it is. And even though we get frustrated because it's no longer working the same way we've been told it was supposed to work, then I'm gonna learn how this works so I can move forward. I'm gonna identify the way. I'm gonna play the game. I'm not gonna just sit and complain because it's not working the way I was expecting to, or the way it should work. There are so many things we cannot control, and at the same time, we have a huge responsibility to make things work. So if you're here, chances are you're going through something similar or have already come out of the other side. So I would love to hear your story. How are you navigating it? Are you working on something new? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope to see you again around soon. Take care.